Hi, Jay.
Hi, yes. Nick.
Nick. Yeah, perfect. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, did you make it in okay?
I did actually, yeah.
Great. Good. Do you need anything to drink or anything?
Oh, no, I'm okay. Thank you. I appreciate that though.
What else have you been up to today so far?
Well, I've kind of just been taking it easy. I'm still a student at Coe College, and I had a class this morning, and so I had to wake up a little bit early for class and went to class. But nothing too crazy. It's been a pretty simple day.
Good. So you mentioned class. It's been a few years since I graduated. I went to Mount Mercy University, really close to Coe.
Very close to Coe.
Yeah.
I have a couple friends who've gone there, so.
Oh, good. So how are classes going at Coe this semester? Are you a senior this year? Is that right?
I am. I'm a senior. It's my second semester. It's gone by very fast, but I've enjoyed every minute. Classes are going well.
Good.
I think that this semester my classes ended up being a little harder than I would have originally anticipated. I've heard from many seniors that your last semester was an easy one, but I guess that didn't work out with my schedule. But that's good. I'm glad that I'm not being lazy, I guess is the way to say it.
What classes are you in this semester?
Well, I'm actually taking a couple courses to fulfill my requirements just to graduate. Coe's a liberal arts school, so I have a general education requirement with a rhetoric course that I'm taking. I have an art course that I'm taking. It's actually my practicum requirement. It's fulfilling my senior show. Every senior art major puts on a show, and so I'm developing my artwork, putting it together. I have to figure out how I'm going to hang it in the gallery.
If you don't mind me asking, when is your senior show?
It's actually on April 1st, April Fool's Day, which is not a joke.
If you don't mind, I might make an appearance.
Yeah, please do. Definitely. There will be refreshments available, so
great.
It'll be a fun thing. I'll have lots of family coming in, so you'll have to excuse me if I don't make time for you. Of course. Feel free to come and talk to me. I'd love to see you there. It'd be amazing.
Sorry for interrupting. Continue with your classes.
All right, definitely. Another course I'm taking. It's a really fun one. I'm taking behavioral ecology of vertebrates, and that course has no syllabus or anything. We just go into the wild of Cedar Rapids, to the forest, and bird watch. Look at the squirrels, look at foxes, look at deer, really anything that pops up, and we learn about those. So that is a fun course. And I'm also taking a French course as well.
Wow, great for you. So what do you think of New York?
I'm really excited. I've never been to New York. My mother told me to kind of steer clear of New York, which is something that, against her wishes, I am applying for this position, but I'm very excited about it. I think that New York City excites me. There's an endless opportunity there. I've never been in a city that big, and so I'd be interested in seeing what I could accomplish and how I would spend my time and just learning about the city.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, just in the way that you might tell anyone.
All right, definitely. Well, I'm in currently Cedar Rapids, Iowa, a little different than Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's where I'm originally from. And so I came to Coe mainly for the reason that my oldest sister went to Coe. She came for the nursing program that Coe offers. So has a one-on-one opportunity with a preceptor, and so that's why she came to Coe. And I was young enough when she first came that my parents dragged me along to all college visits, so Coe became a definition of college for me. So that's kind of how I ended up being there. Another thing about myself is that I am a double major with a minor in Coe, my two majors being art and biology, which are two things that don't always go together, but it's just kind of how I work, I guess. Biology, I was always interested in medicine, pre-med specifically. I had the opportunity of seeing an open heart surgery when I was 16 years old, and from that moment on I always thought that I wanted to get back into the operating room and really kind of have that experience again and again. But recently I've kind of been having a lot of what-if thoughts in my head about art. Art is the other thing that has kind of completed me this whole time. I used to use it as a stress reliever, really, for all the science courses I was taking, but I've really begun to enjoy it more and spend more time on it, painting specifically. And so that's something that I'm really interested in. And French is my minor. I've always had a passion for French. I've actually been to France 3 times, and so I just love everything about the culture and the language and the art that's there as well. So I guess there are a couple things about me. I'm not sure if you want to know more. Or,
no, thank you. So I understand that art sort of started out as a hobby, and of course, this position with the Metropolitan Museum of Art here in New York, you'd be taking that further from, of course, a hobby into what may, of course, turn into your career with this internship starting as that. But would that be something that you'd be really interested in doing? Is taking it that step just past maybe what you started as a hobby into what you'd be doing for maybe the rest of your life?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm hoping for with this potential internship. It's, as I said, I've been wondering lately what if about art, and this is a means to that end, to be able to answer that question. One of the biggest things with art is I'd always just taken studio courses and really focused on painting or photography or sculpture, anything to kind of do all of that. But then my interest was piqued a little more with me starting to take art history courses. And I'd always been a person that really enjoyed going to museums and looking at art and kind of attempting to develop an opinion about art. But really that all culminated with art history courses, and I've been even more interested in learning as much as I can, and I feel that this would be a great opportunity for that to go further and to really understand more about the career that I'd be interested in having.
Wow. How do you see art history as being relevant in today's world for artists that are currently working to produce their own art?
That's an interesting question, definitely. I think for me, that question is almost more of a how is it not relevant, to be honest, just based off the fact that there have been so many artists, and since the history of time, since the very beginning, even cavemen were artists with cave drawings that they did, that everything has been tried at least once before. And so any person that is an artist today, attempting something new, has the ability to look back and to gain experience from other artists that have been around before or are currently still alive. That'd be a really unique opportunity to be able to speak to someone who's also doing what you're doing. But really all artists kind of feed off of one another, and art history is really one of the ways to learn as much as you can to develop yourself as an artist. And what better way than to learn how everything began by learning even just the basics of art history.
I see. Thank you. And so, moving past that then, why us? Why the Metropolitan Museum of Art here in New York?
A couple different reasons. One, your collection. Over 2 million pieces of art. I think that I could definitely spend the entire internship looking at a different painting or a different piece of art every day and try and learn something new every day. There's no way I would ever fulfill that, but it'd be nice to just look and see what is possible. The other location, New York City, extremely excited about what could happen there, and just the reputation that your museum has. Really, it's one of the most excellent museums, as it's been said. I have definitely done a slight amount of research trying to learn what I could, and your museum is one of the best from what I can tell, and so I guess I'm aiming high, but I would love the opportunity.
I'm glad to see you've done your homework. So what can you do for us? Obviously, this is a pretty competitive position that we're opening up here. So what do you think that you can bring to this position specifically that maybe some of the other applicants can't?
I would hope that what I would bring is flexibility. I think that being a biology major and an art major are two things, as I've already said, they don't really go together, and honestly they use both sides of the brain, which I think is something that I've been happy I've been able to develop, and I think that it allows me to be exactly that, flexible in really adapting to what is necessary. I think that I've had quite a few leadership opportunities, or just opportunities in general, where I've had to be quick on my feet to change something, to really be available to anything that happens, and I think that that's something that would definitely be an advantage over other applicants, I would hope,
Sure.
as well as just an extreme eagerness to learn. I think that that's something that I would bring to the table. I would be more than willing to kind of stay up late learning what I could, or just to kind of hit the ground running and really work and learn. And I mean, the purpose really is to find out if this is something I'm interested in, and so I would really devote myself as much as I could to it.
I see. Thank you. How long do you think you would see yourself trying to stay here at Metropolitan Museum? Would you see that as trying to be your lifelong goal, or maybe just maybe sort of an entry level to try and get your feet wet in New York?
I guess that would depend on a couple different things. The opportunities that were available at your museum finishing the internship, if there was a position available, I would definitely hope to apply for it and hope that my experience would prove relevant to the position, or just that I'd be a worthy candidate. If not, I would stay in New York as long as it was financially possible for me. I, again, never been to New York, but I understand it's an expensive city. And so as long as I could find a job and had a place to stay, then I would stay.
That is. Are you willing to, I know you mentioned flexibility a little bit, but this is a bit different. Are you willing to sort of maybe stay a little later than we might have said at the beginning of the day, and do some things maybe that aren't necessarily, how can I say, the shining gem of our gallery? Some of the hard work, of course, that would have to be put in. Would you be willing to do that? Obviously, you're an artist yourself, but you're showcasing some other artists here. Is that something that you'd be willing to do?
Definitely. I most definitely would be willing to stay a little bit later if I had to, or come in a little early in the morning. And I definitely understand grunt work. I really do. I have a position currently at Coe College, where I am a tour guide. And one of the gems, I guess, as you put it, of that job is that you get to give tours. You get to meet prospective students, and you get to see and engage with those students and try and see if Coe is a good fit for them, which is in this position, that would be me learning about art. But at the same time, with being a tour guide, you also have to send mailings and kind of do data entry and other things that would not be considered the shining gem of the position. But I definitely understand that somebody needs to do the work, and there's always something that needs to happen for everything else to be able to function. So I would be more than willing to put in the time.
Great. I've got one final question for you, and that is, where do you see yourself in 5 years from this point?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure where I see myself in 5 years, just based off the fact that I'm still pursuing, well, I'm not pursuing, I'm still interested in both biology and art, but this or a position similar to this will kind of be a determining factor about where I'll be in 5 years. Should this be something I was interested in and wanted to pursue it further, then I would be an individual attempting to find a job similar to this or in another museum. And I'd also like to continue my artwork no matter what. But hopefully I'll be someone that is working hard, and hopefully I have a job by then, and just kind of something that is long-lasting, I guess. So kind of, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm excited to see where I'll be in 5 years and to see what happens.
Thank you. At this time, do you have any other questions for me that you'd like us to answer?
The biggest one I have is just, I've read over a little bit about the position, and I know one thing that is not included is housing. But would it be possible to get in contact with other students who have had this position before to kind of gauge or learn where they've stayed, or do you have recommendations about places to stay, or would that be something you'd help me with?
Of course, yeah. We could definitely give you the names of our other interns. I know that there was one apartment building that a few of them stayed in together last summer. Yeah, I could help you out with that. I mean, if you need to crash in my place for one night, it might be fine. But no, yeah, I could help you out with some of that information, most definitely.
Cool. And that's really the biggest one. Other than that, I'm just excited for the opportunity and excited to see what happens next.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to getting back in touch with you. We'll make a decision within the next couple of weeks. We have a few other applicants that we need to interview still, and then we'll give you a call right away. Thanks for